Welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is JavaScript full tutorial series for absolute beginners. In the last episode, we learned about JavaScript variables. We know that we can declare variables in four different ways. One is automatic, second is to use var keyword, third is to use let keyword, and the last is to use const. Today we will learn in detail about the let keyword. Very important concept, especially when you're working in an enterprise environment. You will often run into this. So this is the most fundamental basic things I'm starting, but I'm sure this will help you build on your JavaScript knowledge. Let's get started. This is a complete tutorial playlist index I have. I am on episode number 7 today, but I'll be covering around 43 plus tutorials on this. So make sure that you bookmark this playlist and go through each one of the series episode. Alright, today we are learning about JavaScript let keyword. The let keyword was introduced in ES6. Variables defined with let cannot be redeclared. Okay. Variables defined with let must be declared before use. Variables defined with let have block scope. Okay, these are the four important things that you should know about using let keyword. I'm going to show each one with a hands-on. Let's get started. Alright, so if you remember, this is what we had written as part of the variables. I'm going to create a new file for you to keep it very simple and so that you can follow easily. So doc type, and we know that we will use JavaScript inside a HTML page. There are two different ways to use it. One is either through an external script or one through a internal, which is this internal script. Let keyword. That's what we are learning today. If you open it in the browser, you can run it in any browser of your choice. Okay, this is how it would look. Now, to define a variable, we were writing var, right? But now we are going to write let. Let user ID equal to 10. So here I am declaring a variable by the name user ID, and I have written the keyword let. Okay. Now let's try and learn let in more detail. If I again see here, when I hover on it, it says cannot redeclare block scoped variable user ID because it is let. This is one of those useful use cases because when you are using, it helps you catch errors that you cannot redeclare a variable that's already defined as let. Okay, and that's why it's important. So always use let whenever you use the block level. Now see, the first use is you cannot redeclare it. That's number one. Now, but what happens with var? If I say var s equal to arc, I can say s equal to, see, it is not giving any error here if you use the var keyword, because let will not allow you to redeclare the variable. Remember, that's the difference between let and var. Var you can define any number of times in the scope of the program, but let will throw error if you try to redeclare it. One other thing, if you just have this, right, it's automatic, but let's say you cannot reassign the value if it is not defined. Okay, so that's another thing that you should know, that you cannot redeclare the same variable using let. Now coming to block level, right? Now let's say you have some program going on. You will say let if a is greater than b, all right, and then you will say let user ID equal to 20. Now see, block level means this is block. Whatever is written inside the curly brace becomes a block. Here I can define let because it is inside the scope of this particular block itself, but I cannot do it at this level because it's already defined. It will give error, right? So this is giving error because it's at this level, but this is at this block level inside the curly brace, and hence I can redeclare user ID. Okay, so those are the important things that you should know about using let keyword. Now one of the question that often that I get is, where should we use var, where should we use let? if you are working on any real-time enterprise project, avoid using where. Okay, avoid using where keyword. It's vague, it doesn't tell you, it doesn't catch mistake, it allows you to redeclare without giving any warning, and that's a bad thing, right? So avoid using auto, right? Avoid using auto and where keyword. That's not a good practice. Always use let or const. These are the two things you should use to define the variables. I hope the concept is clear, because in the next episode I'm going to cover const. Now const is nothing but a constant variable, so that you cannot modify the value. Very important. Again, you will use this on a daily basis, so you will need that. I hope you're enjoying this series. I'm covering everything from basic to advanced, and I'm sure that you're having fun learning. Do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions, doubts, or feedback for me. Thank you so much. Let's continue this learning journey in the next episode, learning about JS Const.